Hi everyone, and welcome to a little practice with the Yogashala. My name is Barb, and we're going to do a little bit of yoga together at a time when we truly need to just give ourselves a reprieve from all of the forward thinking, the anticipating of what is to come, and all of the fear and the doubt and the worries that is associated with that for all of us. But we know that we are going to move through this. As a society, we're strong, and we need to be resilient. And in order to be resilient, we need to do our yoga as a means of helping us to just come back into the present moment where all is well inside, and remind ourselves of that feeling of ease that does exist even in these turbulent times. Let's do a little yoga together. Let's bring our hands to heart center. And just allow the thumbs to come into the center of your sternum. Feel the very center of the heart. Allow your eyes to close and take the head down towards the heart. As we take the first few moments of our practice to move into feeling and come out of thinking for the next little while together. Begin to feel the breath coming in through the nasal passage. You'll feel a coolness of the inhalation, and you'll feel a warmth of the exhalation leaving the body. And as we take the next few moments to bring the breath up to a conscious level by feeling it coming into the body and moving out of the body. I'd also like you to begin to feel as though the breath is expanding the heart center. Begin to feel your ribs start to expand to the front, the sides, and the back. As we begin to let go of some of the rigidity that the tensions of the current times are bringing into our minds and therefore into our bodies. Begin to feel your ribs as though they're like elastics, gently expanding as we inhale and gently coming back to center as we exhale. Softening your jaw. Allow the lower jaw to drop down and away. Allow your brow to smooth the skin over the brow bone. Soften your tongue. If it's dancing all over the back of those front teeth, allow it to become still and quiet. Soften your throat. And soften the sides and the back of your neck. And then begin to let your belly soften as well, particularly right through the very center of the solar plexus area. In fact, you can take your hands and place one hand there and one hand on the sternum. And just begin to feel the belly gently expanding as you inhale. The ribs expanding, so the whole core of the body, like a giant balloon, just expanding and gently coming back. And see if you can move it in all sorts of different directions. So not just sideways or up and down, but see if it can, almost like a little amoeba, start expanding in different ways. And see if you can take your breath into your back. Allow the breath to move the prana into areas that have become stuck, hardened, and kind of shut down. Then let your hands just come back to the heart center for a moment. We're going to add one final thought here before we begin to move. And I'd like you to bring just a gentle smile to your lips. Some of you may not feel like doing that, and that's exactly the group that I want to do it especially. But invite yourself to bring a smile to the edges of your lips. Not a giant grimace, just a little Mona Lisa or a Buddha type smile. Keep your eyes closed for the moment and begin to feel the effects of that smile. You'll feel a brightness or a lifting, perhaps a effervescence or a tingling up into the cheekbones, the temples, the forehead area. Keep that gentle smile going. And I want you to remind yourself of this feeling of joy. And I want you to bring it down, please, into the heart center. Light up the heart center with the energy of joy. We've known the energy of fear, of doubt, of anticipation. And it's time that we step back into the feeling of joy at times in order to move ourselves forward. And as you let that energy of joy permeate through your entire body, we'll begin our yoga practice together, everyone, to fill back up in our bodies, in our minds, and for all of us in our spirits. Enjoy your practice. All right, here we go. Let's open the arms, take a deep inhale, bring the arms all the way up. And as we deep exhale, bring them down through the heart center. Let's go another time. Very much enveloping your movement within that breath. And last time, inhaling. And deeply exhale. Good. One last time, come up. And this time, let's interlace the fingers. And as we exhale, just lengthen those arms skyward. Really press through the heels of your hands. I want you to get your bodies as long as they can be. You can then drop your chin down. And as you keep pressing through the heels of your hands, you'll feel just a nice stretch over the shoulders. Just another breath there. And then exhale. Let's release, please. We'll take just another little bit of neck work. So let's bring our chins down. And you're going to swing your chin from side to side. Just allowing that chin to sweep towards each armpit. And just softening the back of the neck muscles and the upper shoulders. Take a few more rounds there. Keep your breath nice and even. And keep reminding yourself of that smile on your lips and in your heart. And then come back to neutral and begin to lift the chest so that we're not heaving the head back up. Good. As we come up, we're going to drop our right ear right towards our right shoulder. I want you to really let that right ear soften. You're going to feel a nice stretch over the left shoulder. And as we breathe there, I want you to feel the breath coming all the way up from pelvic floor right through to crown of head. And then you're going to move that breath all the way back down on your exhalation right through to the pelvic floor again. We're going to place our right hand down and we're going to let that arc continue. So as we arc over, you can keep that left hand. It can either just stay at your waist, or if you're feeling comfortable to do so, you can either bring that part of the lever of the arm up, the elbow can come up, or you can start to soften it over. But if that's too much, then bring it back to here. So for me, I'm going to keep it here. I'm going to keep walking my right hand out, and I'm just going to soften down. So I'm coming into a full side body stretch here. But then I want you to keep that awareness of your breath. Bring it all the way up from pelvic floor, all the way to crown of head. And then move it back down all the way to pelvic floor. One last breath there. And then slowly you're going to walk your hands back in, your right hand. and that will bring you back up. As you come back up, we're going to need just a little movement there to allow the blood flow just to recirculate through there. And then we're going to go to the other side. So you're going to start to drop, and you'll feel a bit of stiffness at first as we come on to this side because of the work we've just done. So go just mindfully. Just drop that ear over to the left. As you start to feel that stretch through the right side of the neck, just softening there. When you feel that restriction, kind of the end of that elastic band, just kind of hang out there. Use your breath, begin the breath work from the pelvic floor all the way up to crown of head on inhalation, and your exhalation taking you all the way back down. Feel the prana moving through your body, the life force of energy. And then let your left hand come down. We'll start to come over to this side. So again, we're just going to keep the right sitting bone sinking down so we're not tipping over. And we're just going to let this right hand go where it wants to. Some of you may be getting enough where you are. Stay there. If you want to bring it up, you can bring it up to the shoulder. You can take it over. Just see which way. You might even just have your hand kind of hanging there as though your elbow is suspended skyward. And you can keep walking that left arm out a little bit. We'll take about 3 breaths here. Let your ribs expand. Keep softening that right side of the neck. And then very gently, we're going to walk our fingers back up. And we're going to release and let the head just have a little bit of movement. The body might like just a little bit of a jiggling movement just to let that blood flow come in. All right. We're going to come off of our supports, everyone. Come back into child's pose, please. Yep. Take your knees nice and wide, your toes together, and you're going to lengthen back. Let's bring our hands into namaste, please, and reach the arms forward. As we reach forward, we're going to let our forehead and bridge of nose come down to the floor. I'd like you to take 3 full breaths here and using the energy in the body to move the sitting bones back. So we just begin to feel a decompression of the spine. Remember, our nervous system is very much held within the spine, the central nervous system, and so we want to take great care of our backs. We want to create a flow of energy through it so that blood flow remains constant, so that we're helping our bodies stay at their optimal functional levels. So let's take one last breath there. And then we're going to separate our hands. We're going to come up to tabletop, and we're going to release our knees so that they're just behind our hips. And we're going to take them a little further back. Yeah, we're going to come into some spinal flossing, everyone. A nice way to just generate some energy through the spine. So you can curl your toes under if you like. And as we inhale, we're going to push back. Our arms are going to lengthen to help push us back. We've got the spine in a bit of extension here as we inhale. And then as we exhale, we're going to come forward. We're going to lengthen the spines, looking at our belly and rounding the tailbones down. The back's getting as long as we can. So inhale, pushing back. And exhale, coming forward and lengthening. Elbows are bending slightly to just help that back lengthen. Inhale, moving back. And exhale, coming forward and looking under. We're going to do that about 3 more times. Inhale and exhaling. And our last time. And then gently as we inhale, We're going to come all the way back. You can let your toes relax under. Wrap your arms around and come into full Malasana, Balasana rather, just coming into full child's pose. Okay, let's bring our hands forward. Just adjusting my mic there. Bring your hands forward, please, everyone. Fingers not too widely splayed, just pointing them forward. They can be separated, but just point them forward so that we're evening the pressure there. We're going to come through plank into a down dog. We want to make sure we've got the length of our dog. So as we come up into plank, just make sure you're parallel to the floor. I want your thighs to be really engaged here. Lift the bellies. Take an inhale. And then lift the hips way up, back. And as you exhale, soften the heels gently down. We're going to do that 3 more times. Inhale brings you forward. Thighs are engaged here. And if you need to, you can bring your knees down. That's fine. And then exhale, you're coming up, back, and down to dog. Coming forward, inhale, coming all the way up through crown of head. And exhale, moving right back through the pelvic floor. Let's go 1 more time. Inhale. And deeply exhale. Good. As we take our dog here, I want you to take just a few breaths. And I'd like you to feel your fingers pushing forward with your hands so that your hips are moving back. And as we push back through those hips, the legs come into sthira. So we find the strength in our body so that we also find the ease, the sukha. Make sure the shoulder blades are rolling down away from center line so that the shoulders are supported. And then, keeping that awareness, we're going to lift our right leg up behind. As we lift that right leg up, just take a breath. Keep your left hip moving back, please, and press through those arms. And then inhale, come on forward. We're going to bring that foot right between those hands. And as we do so, we're going to lower that back heel. We're going to come up into Virabhadrasana 1, everyone. As we come to Virabhadrasana 1, we're going to bring the hands just gently together. I want you to reach towards the sky. The head, if it feels comfortable to move back, it can. Otherwise, you're going to keep your head with the arms just aligned with the ears. With our left hip forward, take a breath here. Lengthen the arms skyward as you press the back heel into the floor. And we lengthen into the big right toe joint as well. We're going to work this just a little dynamically. So we're going to inhale, straighten up. As we straighten up, we're going to take the hands behind the waist and exhale, come forward into Parsvottanasana. That right outer hip moving back. Inhale, coming up. And exhale, deepen back into Virabhadrasana 1. Inhale, straightening up. And exhale, hinging from those hips and gently coming forward. So we're just inviting the hamstrings to open at this point. And exhale, back we go. 1 last time. Inhale, coming up. And exhale, hinging from those hips. Now we're going to stay here. And I'd like you to keep pressing through that big right toe so this right hip's moving back. Then I want you to ground through your left foot. Take a big breath here. And then exhale, maybe soften over. Let the head soften down towards that knee. Inhale, you're going to come back, everyone. And we're going to place our left hand either onto the right shin, or if you happen to have a block nearby, you can use a block. If you haven't got a block, if you're at home, obviously, you can use, for me, I use a Charles Dickens book at home. Yes, it's a perfect size to emulate a block. But if you haven't got any of those things, that's fine. You can just use your shin. Okay, from here we're going to lengthen. I want you to lift the sternum as we come into a revolved Trikonasana. So as we start to revolve, I want you to spiral through the crown of your head. Keep pressing into that front right big toe, so your right hip's going back. Opening the hearts here. If the right arm wants to come up, it can, but it doesn't have to. Keep spiraling from your waist, please. Take one more breath here. And then exhale. You're going to bring those hands down. As you come down, you're going to straighten the front leg. And you're going to turn to the left, everyone, to come into a wide-legged forward fold. So that I don't put my bottom to your face, I'm just going to change sides so that I can show you where we're going to go. So from where you are, you're going to pivot to the left and come into a wide-legged forward fold. Take a breath there, widen your feet, and then exhale, soften into your forward fold. For those that the hands are comfortably coming to the floor, they can place either here, or you can walk the hands through, and you're going to have the palms skyward. Your head can either come to a block, if that is an appropriate height. You can just rest your head there. For those whose heads are on the floor, yes, if the legs are wider, then the head can rest on the floor and with the hands outstretched. For some of you, you may be thinking, I'm nowhere near the floor, Barb, so that's fine. You can, if you can, double up, take some pillows or a chair. You could use a chair as well. And just let your head gently rest on that chair. Okay? And then let the hands release. I'd like you to take a few breaths here, yeah? As we use our forward fold, yes, to open up the inner thighs and the hamstrings, etc. We're also using it energetically to just quiet the mind, bring a greater sense of ease into that body. So just taking a few more breaths here, whether we're head is on blocks, 1, 2, or to the floor. Keep the weight on the balls of your feet. And then, very gently, we're going to bring our hands back. You can move your block aside. And we're going to keep pivoting to the left. Okay, as we pivot to the left, we'll come to a deep lunge. And then from there, we're going to place the back foot down. And we're going to bend the front leg and come up into Virabhadrasana 1 on our opposite side. As we bring the hands together, we adjust. And if you need to go a little wider, you can do, yes, so that you've got that right hip forward. So just see where's better for you. Take your breath here and take a good 3 breaths. As we ignite the energy in the body, pressing down through that back right heel, keeping the knee aligned over the front ankle. Feel the energy moving up as much as it's moving down. All right, we're going to begin this side. Inhale, we're straightening up, hands are behind. Left hip is back as we gently hinge over that front leg. Inhale, coming up. And exhale, back to Virabha 1. Inhale, coming up. And deep exhalation. Inhale, coming up. And exhale, deepen. Our last time, inhale. And exhale, over we come. So as we come to where the hamstrings, we start to feel a little resistance there. I want you to keep your left hip moving back. Keep your right leg powerful, please. And then allow that nose to come in towards that front thigh. Keep the breath going. Keep pulling up the thighs and lengthening the back of the legs. All right, we're going to lengthen out, and then we're going to place our hand either on our left shin, our right hand, or taking a block or a book, whatever you have available to you. And from here, first thing I want you to do, please, press into that big left toe and lengthen the spine. Lengthen the spine as we spiral to the left. Taking your full inhalation right up through crown of head. Left hand can hang out on your back, or if it wants, it can come skyward. Just see how you feel. And it's going to keep mine down today. Keep spiraling the right side under and forward. Left hip back. One last breath. And then exhale, hands back to either side, please. We're going to pivot back to the right this time, widening your legs. Come into our flat back. So if you need your blocks here, please use them. Whichever level that may be, I want you just to keep the weight over the balls of your feet. Take a breath. And then exhale, we're going to soften down. As we soften down, whether the head wants to rest on a block, you're going to let your hands just come through. The palms are skyward like a little gorilla. I want you just to breathe here. Whether your head is on a chair, blocks, or the floor, just see what feels best for you. But I want your skull to be supported, everyone. I want you to feel completely supported here. One last full breath. And then gently, let's bring these hands underneath. You move your blocks aside. Let's keep going to the right, everybody, please. As we pivot back to the right into a low lunge, we're going to step back into our down dog. And as we move back, just another couple of breaths here as we lengthen the body back. And then let's bring our knees down. As we bring our knees down, bring them around, please, everyone. We're going to go onto our backs, and we're going to come into a supported bridge posture. Now, again, if you've got some blocks or books at home, great. If you don't, you can do this dynamically. We could also put some harder seat cushions from a couch or a chair. You can put that under the back of the sacrum. So I'll show you both ways, okay? As we go down, we're going to take hold of a knee just to bring ourselves down. If we're using the blocks, then I would suggest using one or two, depending on how you feel. We're going to need to press the pelvis up. So we're going to lift from the pubic bone. And as we come up, we might have to go up onto our toes. We can get one under, or we might come up a little higher and we might get a second one under. And then we're going to adjust those shoulders as well. Now, if we haven't got blocks or books or cushions to support us here, then we'll be doing it actively on our own. So we'll be very much wanting those elbows into the side of the waist. You can take the elbows here to begin with. As we puff up the chest a little bit, I want you to feel the support coming from your upper arms, top of your shoulders, your feet, and just the back of your skull. Making sure we're not turning the head. You'll notice I'm not turning to look at you here. We want that gaze just down your nose. I want to keep that head nice and straight so that we're not going to stress any of the areas of the neck. As we breathe here, once you decide whether I'm using blocks or not, if you want to bring the hands interlaced, you can do so. And then I want you to lengthen your knees towards the front of your mat and feel your heart gently arcing to the back. And as we breathe here with your gaze just softly down your nose, I I want you to bring your awareness to the heart center, please, and the whole chest cavity. Let the prana bring that new vitality into this area. We'll take another breath here. And we're going to release the arms. We're going to come up onto our toes. And if you've got blocks, you're going to move them aside. And we'll start to roll down. Take your time. Just roll down each vertebrae. As we come all the way down. Good. And then let your heels soften down. Just take a breath there.